Tonight's topic is on the topic for before us that we are going to be discussing is connected or disconnected. The impact of social media on family dynamics. With me tonight on the show, I have Itomi Terry Kenu by my left hand side on the screen, and I also have Maz by my right hand side on the screen. Good evening, guys.
Evening.
Hi, good evening. I'm just trying to adjust everyone's name because now we're calling Mars Tunde. Okay, all right, that's done. Oh, great.
So, tonight I'll be the anchor of this show. Like I said, we are discussing connected or disconnected, the dual impact of social media on family dynamics. So, just to set the ball rolling, just by way of introduction, um, I'm going to be laying some form of foundation tonight on this topic. Okay, so what is family dynamics? I've already defined family dynamics to refers to patterns of behaviors, patterns of interactions among relatives, among families, and this can be affected by so many factors. And one of the factors that we are looking tonight is the social media. In those days, we used to have this communal way of living, you know, where where there was no social media. But nowadays, we see different shades of family bonding, different shades of interactions, and different kinds of families. We have the nuclear families, we have the extended family, and so certain things impact their relationship, the way they interact with themselves. So tonight, one of those things that impacts this family bonding and family interactions and relations that we are talking about is social media. So we're looking at the dual impact. Does it even have a dual impact? Does social media have dual impact on family relations? So tonight we're going to be discovering that, and we will now be able to understand how to um, position ourselves better in our families and get the best out of the family, knowing fully well that a good family is what also translates to a good nation. You know, the family is a subunit of any um, community, and the community also to a nation. So it's important for us to treat the family well. And in this time of social media, um, a lot has been happening. So that is one of the reasons why we are looking at this topic. Right, guys? Mary, you look good. Thanks for coming.
Thank you so much for that introduction. Yes, like you've said, we are of the opinion that social media has both positive and negative sides, especially as it relates to uniting the family. And so we are going to be very balanced in our submission, trying to sieve out the good and the bad, and trying to educate ourselves on how we can better utilize what's good and discard what's bad. So that's the purpose of this discussion. Kindly please join us. It's more interesting when we are more, the more the merrier. We can bring in different ideas. Like I used to say, I always learn every week when I'm here. So I want to learn something new today. Thank you.
Okay, so Mars, any addition?
Well, social media is beautiful. It's a gift, and I think if you can think back to when we just had to use the odd phone, I know that the struggle for getting in touch with people was real, and also having to post letters out using stamps and all that. Social media has really helped us a lot. So it'll be interesting to see how the discussion forms and in the different contexts that we're looking at it, and just to also look at how it has changed the dynamics with which families relate and even how we relate with ourselves. Even our me times that we're supposed to be spending resting, how has that affected it? So it's gonna be an interesting conversation.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So tonight is um night that just keep your expectations high, and because I assure you, we are not coming like we will always say on this show. We're not coming to talk academics. We are saying things that are relatable. And before I proceed, just to give a bedrock to our discussion tonight, we are going to be showing you, going to be buttressing our points by a short video clips that will help you to understand why the need for this topic.
A new study from the UK, published in the journal eClinical Medicine, found that 14-year-old girls who use social media more than 5 hours a day saw a 50% spike in depression symptoms. Teen boys saw a 35% jump. Researchers found that all teens who spent excessive time on social media got less sleep and exercise, which are directly related to mental health issues. In addition, those teens were more likely to be exposed to cyberbullying.
I think it's a really important question point of how much screen time is too much.
John Torres is a digital psychiatrist at Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center. We asked him about the study's findings that more screen time seemed to spark more depression, particularly in girls. Researchers link that to the use of Snapchat and Instagram for photos related to body image. But Dr. Torres says adolescence is hard regardless of gender.
I bet depending on a different study in a different context, you would probably find in the end it impacts both girls and boys equally.
Experts say the takeaway for parents is to help kids find a healthy balance.
Starting this summer, both Apple and Android, at least on smartphones, released updates that now track how much time you spend on the phone. So it's actually possible for parents to get a pretty good idea of how much time their children are spending on social media versus kind of productivity apps, versus scheduling apps, versus video apps.
That study found that 3 hours or less is best. Dr. Torres also encourages parents to set a technology cutoff time before bed, since studies have proven that screen use impacts healthy sleep. I'm Mary Salata, WCBB.
All right. So we just saw that clips, and to be interested to know and see that the impact that social media has. Well, while um, the clip was trying to be balanced, but it talked more about the negative effects of social media. So, but tonight we are looking at the dual impacts of social media on family dynamics. Like I said in the introduction, don't forget why the family is so important. A product of a failed family will not um, cannot be a better person in the society. So that is why it behoves on us to guide the family jealously, and anything that will serve as a deterrent to a healthy family should be consciously looked at and worked on. So just to get us started, we'll be calling on Terry now to get us on up to speed on what's the positive impact of social media on family dynamics. What do you think are the positive impact of social media on family dynamics?
Thank you so much for that question. Um, it's very easy to talk about negatives, but we forget that social media has really changed our lives. It wasn't this good. And so I will just quickly highlight the benefits of social media, especially as it relates to the family. Of course, we have so many benefits when it comes to relating with friends and other networks, including our colleagues. I just can't mention as more. I can't just talk as much when it comes to that. I know how much it has helped, but we're going to concentrate just towards the family. How has social media benefited um, this circle. When we talk of family, we have the nuclear family, which is you, your wife, and children, depending on your status, might also be you, your parents, and siblings. So, how has this enhanced family relationship? I will just try to talk about some points, just a few. Let's talk about communication. So, before the advent of social media, it was quite difficult to communicate with family members who might be a distance away. Then we had to rely on telephones, and sometimes, when you don't see people for a long time, the memory can fade, the relationship can reduce, the connection might be lost. But with social media, we find that you can now speak with family members irrespective of their location, and you can see them, you can feel what they go through. I really think this is invaluable. Then we can then talk about the fact that we can share our experiences with family members and they can feel what we enjoy. Imagine in those days if you have to write a letter to your family member expressing how you enjoy the visit to the zoo. Fine, no matter how well or good you are as a writer, you might not be able to express the experience as well as when you will portray it in photos and videos. So now, just by pressing the upload button, you can bring your family into what you have experienced and they can understand how beautiful life is. It can also be in the other way when things are not good, they can also understand how bad the situation is. Social media has really helped in this way. What about support networks? So, with social media, we might find ourselves in difficult situations that we need urgent help, and it's easier for our family members to help because they can easily be reached. They can also be able to see and understand our pains and what we are going through. The list is endless, but I really would like to still mention some more because there are other benefits I would like to highlight. So, for example, with social media, we can be able to meet family members that we will otherwise not have met. We have some families who have gone the extra mile of forming like WhatsApp group. They can say this is the Samuel's family. And then in that group, you get to meet cousins, nephews, aunties, uncles that you ordinarily would not have met. Or if you were to meet them years ago, maybe you just meet them in a burial event where you might not really have the time to really talk and connect with them. So that is a good way. And then we go to real time updates. So sometimes we might be in a situation, or the family might be in a situation whereby they will need to get constant information about an activity. I recently was involved in a case where not really my family member, but someone I know, and the person, one of the family members was kidnapped, and you can imagine the situation for the family in that experience. But with social media, it was easy to get real time updates to know what is happening. Whenever the kidnappers called, you're able to know, okay, and this is the current thing. You are able to plan together. These are invaluable assets that social media have given to us. Then what about crisis support? I personally would say I have experienced this and it was really helpful. Um, I remember when I lost my one of my family members, and I was really in a very bad state, but I was supported by family members who were able to reach me, some who I've not heard from for years. They were able to reach me, they were able to encourage me. Many of them came to my aid because I wasn't around to organize the burial. They came to my aid. in arranging everything. It was almost as if I was not missed, and to the extent that I was able to attend the burial online, because that period was a COVID period and traveling restrictions were being enforced. So I couldn't travel. How else would this have been done if not for social media? What about cultural exchange? We might be used to our cultures and whatever we do, but the truth is that one of the spice of life is getting to know about other cultures, getting to know how other people do things. So when we have a strong family network, we can share experiences. We might have people in different parts of the world who can let us know and open our eyes to how things are done over there. That to me is another great benefit of social media in enhancing families. Then lastly, I'd like to talk about education. Through this our group, for example, we've been able to reach out to people. I personally, we've gotten one or two people who have reached us with their own issues and advice about how they can go about it. And this is possible through social media. So people can get educated about how to be better wives, better husbands, better children. If we utilize social media well, it's a good source of educating us on being better family members. The list goes on and on. Hopefully, we can discuss this more. So I will stop here so we have more time towards the end to be able to discuss more with our panelists, fellow panelists. Thank you.
Oh, thank you very much, Terry. That was a wild submission. The list goes on and on. Social media, the advantage of social media cannot be overemphasized. Even in areas like education, it has helped also to to help to enhance how people get educated. These days, people go online on social media. I remember talking about that COVID period. Many schools were not in session because of the COVID, and even as small as WhatsApp is, or as easy as WhatsApp is, it was what most many schools in this part of the world, in Nigeria, for instance, were using to reaching out. They were using it to reach out to their students. What about in religious places too? Social media has helped. So we cannot overemphasize the goodness and the importance of social media. But as good as social media, no matter the coloration, as good as the social media may seem, it also has its own um, negative effects. So I don't know, Maz, can you help us? What do you consider to be um, the negative effect of social media on family dynamics?
Right. So, as you know, every good thing, also, if you have a good thing, you could also abuse it, so to say. So,
Yeah.
social media is a good thing because, as you've said, you've mentioned lots of benefits of social media. It helps us for education. It also helps us with reference to keeping in touch with people. The list is endless. But on the flip side, we also have the disconnecting effects of social media, and the struggle is real. It actually it's hitting a lot of families, and you're seeing the family dynamics is changing because of social media. The way people relate is beginning to change. There's a landslide, and it's how to balance it. Yeah. So I'll start by talking about time displacement. So with social media, if you're like me, and I know many of you are like me, don't even try to say no. Once you hold the phone, because that's the main digital um, instrument that we use for accessing social media. Once you hold that phone and you start swiping from Instagram to Thread to Twitter, TikTok. You're going on. You actually lost. You're going to lose your sense of time. Say a mother in the morning that is trying to prepare her kids, planning to wake up in the morning, prepare her kids. I bet you, if you go on the phone to say you're trying to go on one of the social media platforms, you're going to lose track of time, because you would, from one news to the next news, you begin to swipe, and the next thing you'll find out is, oh, it's already 6:30. I should have given my child a bath already by now, and I haven't. And that is social media. It affects your time. Time displacement becomes a real thing if you don't know how to put like your brakes on. So you have to say to yourself, like in the morning, if I wake up, am I going to pick up my phone and start swiping, or am I just checking the time? The moment you go on one, I bet you once you go on WhatsApp, looking at somebody's updates, to looking at somebody's status, to looking at what they put on your school alumni, and they put loads there that could catch you. It could be one video that would lead to another conversation. And I tell you, they put those things in there, and you just have to make sure that you are managing your time. So time management becomes so disorganized if you're not able to
Impossible.
control that. It's impossible. Realistically, it's impossible. So sometimes I just find it quite overwhelming. If I'm going to be honest, it becomes too overwhelming. The next thing is, it's also I'm going to move to the next point, which is something that has been touched on from the beginning. It actually affects, it reduces our face-to-face interaction and quality of time spent together. You find that even as a family, because we're looking at it in the context of a family, you find some kids, even at dining table, they have their phones on. They're looking at it. Not just the kids. Let's not accuse the kids alone. Even you adults do it. We go through it with our phones. Where, oh, I'm taking a call, and you're on the dining table, and the kids, the family are with you. Or you are even going out. Some of us even go for outing. We go for meal, and people are on the phone taking. So I've seen the new trend now, where people, when they go on meal, they say everyone should submit their phone in a bowl where you keep it, and then at the end of the meal, that's when you pick the phone back up. And I think it's a brilliant idea, because you're there to have a face-to-face interaction. I'm here, I'm real. Talk to me. Like we're face-to-face, which reminds me of the songs that the Temptations sang, Soul to Soul. I just saying, soul to soul, I want you to talk to me. There's something about talking to someone face to face, and having that real time experience, talking to someone about your day. It's not just how are you. People say, how are you? And do they really want to know how I am? Because they immediately say, how are you? They're back on their phone, and I'm there chatting. Oh, my day was like this, and I just see the person swiping. Do you know how disrespectful that is? So yeah, it actually reduces face to face interactions. Most people would just prefer to stay indoors. When you invite people out, social media becomes like something that they use in getting in touch with you. I'm on Facebook. You can talk to me on Facebook. Let's just do the Zoom meeting. Let's just do a Teams meeting. Let's just do this. A Teams meeting, a Zoom meeting is good, but over time, that touch, that physical touch, is what you need, because sometimes it's the only way you can judge how someone is feeling. It's the only way you can actually attest for if someone says I'm fine, that they are really fine. And I'm talking about this in a family context, within a family context. If you have a son or a daughter or a niece or nephew or friend even who is in the uni or in another place, and you're able to talk to them face to face, maybe you're visiting that town and you're able to see them, please find time to see them. Just don't just say, oh, we'll talk on Facebook. I see them on WhatsApp. We chat on WhatsApp and I'm trusting that they're fine. You see, that face-to-face aspect is still very, very relevant. It distracts when you don't have that aspect of it. Subtracting that is distracting from meaningful family activities. You find kids are no longer going to bike outside. They don't enjoy going for a run. In our time, we used to go for running, doing bicycle race. I can't bike, but yeah, we used to go for running. You go for different activities. You go for different, you meet at the park. You talk about things. You jump. You do. That is actually exercise. You're exercising by doing that. But with social media, I find out most kids will want to do gaming, which is online, because social media doesn't just talk about. It's not just about Facebook and WhatsApp and Twitter and all that. It's also gaming. People are gaming, and it's a real time thing. You're actually doing gaming, PlayStation. You're doing all those things, and you're PS4. You're playing. You're doing actually PS5. You're doing your game online, and you're gaming with people. You're interacting with people, but you're losing track of the real in the waking world. And you're missing out on the waking world of going outside. Let's actually go outside and run and do different activities. Do some, taking fresh air. families need to watch out for this. The level at which obesity is hyping is becoming very high. It's alarming. And some of it's attributed to social media because we're not exercising, we're not simply sitting indoors, you know. Then takes us nicely into the comparison and envy. You find that on social media, comparison and envy is rife. And you know what the saying
Hmm.
go? How the saying goes? Comparison is a thief of joy. Do not envy
Wow.
what you don't know. It's a smoking mirror.
Exactly.
What you're seeing there is a smoking mirror. Some people don't have a life. What they're showing you there is a lie. That quite rhymes. Some people don't have a lie. What they're showing there is a lie. Yeah, they're actually lying to you. What you're seeing there is pure lies. And some of us just take that in and start regretting some choices that we made, not knowing that those choices that we made are actually good, or even if they were bad, they're not that bad. We start hating our lives. We start hating our families. We start hating, the circumstance that we're in, not knowing that whatever that person is selling to you is not real. So I say to my kids, I say to my nephews, my nieces, be careful of what you see. They say, the saying also say that not all that glitters is gold. And also, the grass may not be always green on the other side. You see someone smiling, and we've seen many incidents on social media where someone that was showing pictures of or showing videos of that they are being happy or anything, something like that. In reality, they are not actually happy, and some of them are using filters. You be crying, oh, I've got acne, I've got eczema, I've got this, I've got psoriasis, I've got this. Please calm down. We all have some, one thing or the other. Nobody's perfect with a glass skin or all those effects that they put there. Most of them are filters. Most of them. Some people are real. Most of them are filters, and nobody is perfect anyway. We all have something that we want better for. Don't push yourself because of comparison and envy. It's creating unrealistic. The social media now is creating unrealistic expectations, and now it's fostering feelings of inadequacy among young children, young youth. You see, especially that video we watched first talked about young ladies. I don't know if there's a recent research, but I think it hits ladies most. I beg to I could be wrong, but I think young ladies are on the receiving end because the unrealistic standards of beauty that they put out there for us, man, you can't keep up with that. It's just you just like, ooh, oh, your body have to be like this, you have to be like this, you know what, at the end of the day, I'm human. I'm not going to push myself I'm not going to push myself to become something that I'm not. And I want my kids to understand that. For me as an adult, I understand that already because I've grown, experiences have happened to me. But for younger people, they might not really get it that way. Also, it takes us nicely to self-esteem becomes down. Once those issues are there, they lose their self-esteem. It goes down. Also, privacy concerns and conflicts. You find different people begin to beef you online. Someone that you don't know just sends you a DM message, and just saying nasty things to you, or even they begin to just threaten your life. Cyberbullying happens. So these issues are quite very high amongst teenagers, tweenies, and teenagers as well. So when you have social media, the good side of it is there. When you have social media, we cannot overlook the bad side. And this bad side I've given to you is just on the surface. There are some things that some people have even committed suicide, have died out of because of the act of suicide, because they've been bullied online. And someone leaves a message on your DM saying, go on and kill yourself. Nobody will miss you. Can you imagine that being sent to your own child? Or someone is being, what was it called? Blackmailing.
Sexualized.
Yes, sexualized is different, but also when you're being blackmailed as a youngster, someone asks you to send pictures, and then you send pictures, nude pictures online, which I find crazy, but this generation is something they do, and the media, internet never forgets. So you put your pictures out there, these people begin to blackmail you. Give us this, give us that, give us this. The end result, some people can't take it no more, and they off themselves. And that is happening a lot among young children. Or you think you're talking, children think they're talking to a young person like themselves, but no, it's someone who has, taken the facade of taking the age, like gone on social media and pretend to be a young person precisely, and they're not actually a young person. They're actually there to exploit the young children. So we have to be very careful with social media and be very aware of the things that happen. There are lots of them. There's cyberbullying. There's what's it called? Um, where they're grooming, where they're grooming young kids online, and it's quite
Okay.
a lot happening. They're grooming, and there's also different groups now there that if it's not grooming, they are brainwashing them to different cults or different terrorist groups. You have to look out for this, and you have to also look out for your child's mental health as well. If they are being talked at in a way that brings down their self-esteem, that is another disadvantage. I'll just hand back to you now. I think I've touched a few things, and I'm sure there are lots of other things I missed what I've said here, but these are the ones I could call based on our time.
Fantastic. We can go on and on the negative effect of social media. Particularly as it relates to the teenagers and even preteens now. Okay, so we have seen the connections of social media, positive side, and the disconnection, how it disconnects the family, and how it connects the family. That is the positive and the negative um, aspect of social media. So, how do we balance the positive and the negative of social media on family?
Okay, yeah. Like we've said earlier on, it's all about balance. How do we do it? There are many ways. We can bring this from the aspect of parents supervising the children. But before we even go into that, then we ourselves, we have a lot of work to do to balance things up. So one of the things Mars mentioned earlier was time management. So how can we do this? One way some people have done is to consciously allocate maximum time they will spend on social media during their day, depending on the nature of your daily activities. We cannot recommend a specific time range. For example, some people work on social media, so how can you do it? It's their work, they spend time there, they have no choice. But generally, for those of us that have other jobs we do, we can try to tell ourselves that I won't spend more than so and so time every day on social media. So once you see yourself getting beyond that time, whatever it is you're doing, you just stop it and make it for the next day. That's one way we can balance things out in that aspect.
Mars, do you have anything to say as regards balancing the negative impact of social media and the positive aspect?
Yeah, so with balancing, yeah, charity begins at home. That's very good. What Terry said is quite true. It begins with the parents, with the family, with the seniors. We have to set the rules. And as you know, if you don't set the rule, then you're not actually setting a precedent for the children to follow. So, and it depends on the children. You know, when you have children, they're different. It depends on different ages of the children. They will. Some of them will actually tell you, as the ones that are older, we actually say, "But mommy, you're on the phone as well." Even the little ones, some of them will call you out where you've been on the phone all day, and
Hmm.
they will tell you that. So you need to also be disciplined to know that you're setting balance, that you're setting this rule, and then you also have to abide by the rule. Another thing I would say is it's very important to not just set the rules, but what do you then use to fill those times that they would be on the social media? Look for activities to put to add them to do. You know, kitchen
Yeah.
work, give them chores. Like when we grew up, we're given chores to do, and those were the chores that built us up with reference to work ethics. So look for activities to fill the time, or you can even take them for activities, outdoor activities, to
Hmm.
fill their time with. And you know, one of the positives of social media, you can still use the social media, but for education. So they could be doing their Kumon, or what we call Kumon, like lessons, maths lessons, English lessons online, and they're doing it instead of them being on the social media platforms exploring what you don't know. You know, so you could do that, or take them out. Just look for something to fill in those gaps that they would otherwise have been spent on social media. Another thing is using social media to actually interact. If you're going to use it, you balance it by using it, educating them about the use of it, is to interact in a positive way, not in a negative way. What do you mean by positive way? In a way that will not leave you reduced, in a way that will not make you lose your self-esteem. If I'm using social media and I feel bad, then it's not good for me. Then I'm not using it the right way. Teach them how to use it. And they watch us the way what we they watch the children watch us what we're doing. And you're not just training them for when they are with you. They will leave you one day. They're going to go to college, university. They should be able to remember these lessons and know how to even be standing as a like a pilot to teach other people how to use social media. Because some people don't know have a healthy relationship with social media. When they go on social media, they go to platforms where they know that they will end up being upset. They follow people that make them feel bad. I don't follow. If I see your contents are making me depressed, I delete, unfollow. There
Yeah.
is a button called unfollow. There's a reason it's there.
Yeah.
And there's this algorithm that
That's it.
you do on, yes, there's this algorithm you have on Facebook and all this. And if you don't want to see those contents anymore, you can actually say feedback. I do not want to see those contents. And this is my reason. I don't want to. You can actually do that. So, and then also make them understand that women are sexualized, men are sexualized on social media. What they see there is not really what it should be. So a lot of times when they see things, they should also have that second thought to them to say, is this what it should be? And also, it's not all stories that you see there that are real. Not all people that you see there with their pictures and faces looking normal, they are not all normal people. In fact, don't vet people twice. I know people date via social media. And I will say on your first date, make sure you meet in a public place. Don't go and meet someone where that you don't know, that you just met on Facebook in a private place. It's the wrong thing to do. So set those rules and make them understand. Have open discussion with them about concerns that they have on social media. So it's important that you have a good relationship with your children so that they are able to speak out when they feel, oh, I've been bullied online. They can tell you, this is what this person sent to me, and I don't feel it's right. Mommy, can you have a look? Daddy, can you have a look and see this thing? Don't say, oh, why are you even look at it and judge it and look at it from different perspectives and understand how to treat or respond to such reports when they come to you. Don't just snare at them and say, oh, I told you not to, but follow up with actions as well. So it's about the balances and checks starts with us. And it's important that we also make the children understand that in as much as we want them to explore the cyber, explore the internet, we want them to do that safely. And they should be aware of the different predators that are out there hunting for people online.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Maz. Okay, so to corroborate on what Maz said, in balancing the positive and negative effect of social media, I think one key thing that is very important is taking a conscious effort to to um, to to put it in the mind of your world, your children, and try to impress in their hearts the positives of social media, everything that social media can offer them. You try to consciously impress that on their mind so that even when they are left alone, they are using social media for their advantage. You use social media to interact with your family member first and to educate yourself. It's not a place for you to be catching cruise, as some people will say. When you spend quality time, time is money. You impress it to their heart that time is money. So that time that you're supposed to be using to engage your mind, educate your mind with social media. Don't use that tool, social media, to launch out to do things that are frivolous that cannot help your destiny. So, consciously stating this to them, even when they are independent, it will help them in future to use the tool to their advantage positively. Okay, so we're sorry for the break in transmission, and we're back to our live stream now. I don't know whatever that's technology for you. Okay, so we about hitting our the end of the program, but just as we begin to wrap up, I'd like to ask this question before we go to the final question for the day. At what age do you, any of my panelists can answer this question, at what age do you consider to be right for teenagers to start having an internet enabled device? At what age do you feel that is healthy for a child, not teenager, now a child, to have an enabled um, internet enabled device?
That's
That's
a that question is quite a tricky one because I would say it's not one age, and the reason of saying this is that different platforms have different age settings, and you have some of the platforms like YouTube, children YouTube, which children start watching from when they are very young, and that's actually connected to the internet. So it's a you can say that's actually so it depends on when you were talking about some categories of platforms, things like that are more considered for adults, like things like Facebook or things like need to look at the age specification. I know WhatsApp has changed. It used to be 16 before in the UK, but WhatsApp has now come down to about 10, 13 or so. They used to be 16 before, but now they've come down to 10. So it depends on the platform. And I would say for in that case, if you're putting your child on WhatsApp, you must be able to put the controls in there such that you are monitoring that to be checking. Like for my children, if they on WhatsApp, I make sure that I am looking at I know who is their friend on WhatsApp. I know the groups they're on. They cannot be in a group that I don't. In fact, they're not in groups. The only group they might be is a church, maybe because it's maybe a church meeting that they have to do for children, and they do it, and then they're off. But they are not in a group, because those groups are evil. Most of those groups are evil. When children start inciting on other children, it's really bad. So even the schools have set rules now for children. So to answer your question, I would say it depends on the child and it depends on the platform the child is going. There's nothing wrong for them to start using children YouTube from when they are young. However, be there to control it. As a parent, you have to be there to control it.
so
Um, host, will you allow me to just say all what I threw into the basket, thinking we were live?
can
Let me
you
just repeat it.
can you do that? Can you
I know
recap?
we've gone past our time, but let me
Can you
just
recap in
say,
1 minute?
okay, in 1 minute. Okay, just to talk a bit about security, please. Um, Social media is one area where scammers and evil people are on the prowl, looking for who they can prey on. So please be careful of any message you get that contains links, because some of these links might be used to harvest very relevant details from you, or sometimes can be used to hack your phone or your laptop, and sometimes even take your money. It can be that serious. Be very careful. Also, be careful of links that ask you to fill forms and then tell you that for you to win something, forward these links to multiple people. You're just helping to spread this virus to others. Be very careful. And then sometimes people might send you threat messages asking you that for you to avoid something, that you should pay money or you should follow this link. Please, anything that sounds suspicious, ask questions before you go ahead. And this information is also very good for your parents, your grandparents, people who might not be very aware of social media. They are usually the very easy targets. So I just needed to add that.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much. So on a final note tonight, what do we consider? What are the suggested tools that can be used to control our teenagers, our preteens, on the use of social media? Miles,
I
can
think
you
this would
to
be
that?
Mars.
Yeah, so there are different tools, there are different apps that are available for you to use. One of the one that is quite prevalent among most parents is and is quite effective, Family Link app. It's quite effective. I use it and it's quite good because on that link you can actually decide what you actually enter your child's age, their date of birth. You set a profile for them within your profile, so you're now supervising that profile, and then you decide what kind of contents they can watch. Of course, age appropriate content. If you want them not to watch some kind of apps, you can actually decide that those apps should never come up there, and then you set the timing for when they can use the phones or their web. They can go online, and if they decide to buy an app or add an app from Play Store, it will pop up to you first for
Yes.
approval before, so you would then vet it and look at it and say it's not child friendly, no. Or if they are going over their time, it means in fact it's auto, it just takes them off, it just blanks off the screen for them. So another one is Norton app. So the Norton, the Norton virus antivirus thing, they also have the app for children, and that is similar. It's similar to the family app, family link app. Quite effective as well. I use that as well. And on, of course, on some of the platforms you have controls, like WhatsApp. You have controls on WhatsApp that you can put for children, and WhatsApp always bring up contents for you to keep on abreast with the changes that are happening online, so that you can then fine tune your child towards those changes as well. um so these are some of the
What
tools that
control?
are out.
What controls are on WhatsApp for children?
So when you go on the setting, you the parents, you go on the setting, and then you put the security settings on. If you want your child's what's it called, people not, you can say friend adding. It will They cannot just add your child to any group. Just similar to us, you can put a setting there that nobody can just drag you into a group. It will still send you a link to say, do you want to join? Please, can you join this group? And then you can say, no, I don't want to join this group. Also, you can put setting like controls there for their pictures. When they want to, whoever can, people screenshot, someone can screenshot they can screen there are people who you can't screenshot someone's picture. I can see there are lots of monitoring spirits. They will see your face, they will not say, let me send it to our group, let them see. They will screenshot your photo that is on this thing, or they will send it to Apostle. See the dress she's wearing on this thing. Go snap, it will not snap. So because it's actually a control that you put there, you cannot actually take those pictures because they are minors. Why should you be taking pictures of minors to go and spread where? What's that for?
Yeah.
So there are
Okay.
there. So I always say to current parents, it's not about just giving the child the phone. It's like giving a child. The example I give is you give a child the car key to the car to drive the car. That's what you're doing with the phone. You just gave them that. Are they ready for that? And you can't judge it based on age, because there are some children, they might be 12, they might be 10 years old, but they are more techie savvy than a 15-year-old. It depends on the exposure of that
Yeah.
child.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love the way
Another thing.
Maz. I love the way Maz attacked the question. It's very balanced. Yeah. So at the end of the day, you look at your situation and make a decision what's best for your child. But the thing is, you doing that out of knowledge. That's what's most important.
Another thing I feel is also important for parents to do is to once you are handing over your child's a device, maybe it's, let's say, an Android phone. We all know that for you to optimize the Android phone, you must have created a a Gmail account, right?
Yeah.
So be the person to help that child to activate um, the phone. The Gmail account must be accessible to you. From there, you can see the histories of what he or she is browsing
Yeah.
and all of that. So you can be using that again as another form of monitoring and control to see the sites they visit and all of that. Would have loved
Especially in
to.
this, sorry, especially in
Okay.
this part of the world where we stay, where children always want to cite their rights. Oh, it's my right. That's invading my privacy. You know what? If invading that privacy will save that child's life, please do it. Because some people don't, some children look, it's like my diary. You have no right to look at it. Yes, I do. If I bought the phone for you, I have the right to look at it. I have the right to check it, and I'm saving your life because I don't know what content you're looking at. I don't know who is already exploiting you. I don't know what you're being asked to do behind closed doors. And if you are actually actively being groomed, then I need to step in as a parent. And I say parents should take that mindset. If you're leaving it to the government to say, oh, government say we shouldn't invade their privacies, they are right. Then when something happens, the government is not the one that's going to be shamed. It's not the government that will be pained.
At
It's
the
you.
teenage age, so I can't invade their privacy at the
No.
teenage age.
Well, when it comes to, I think when it depends on what you're how we're saying it, because it's like the same. It's like a diary. You don't open my diary without my consent, but you need to have a relationship with that child to make the child understand that
That's true.
it's down to relationship. I'm caring for you.
Yeah, and I think before you buy the phone for the child, I think people
Agreement.
should sit down, agree how are we going to use this so that the child has expectations and know what to expect. Don't buy the phone, give them all the rights, and then try to take it. That is where the problem will also come in. And
And you know
children,
why that happens is because
children, yeah,
most
yeah,
of
I'm
us
sorry.
buy the phones, give our children the phone, especially to little children when they are crying. We give it to pacify them.
Mm.
And we don't know that those little children now, they don't even know your passcode. You see a baby with dummy in the mouth pressing the passcode of their mother, of the father's phone. They know the passcode. We are giving birth to digital babies now.
Okay, so guys, would have loved to play a video on how to use the family tree, but these are things that you can always access because our time is far spent. You can go to YouTube and type family link, Google family link. So, and you'll see instructions on how to use um, the app. Download it from Play Store and iOS, and follow the instructions that you see from the video on YouTube. And this is where we draw the curtain tonight. I hope that tonight's session has been very um, enjoyable for you all. Please do us well to share these videos, these live videos, and we just have we crave your indulgence to follow us on all our social media platform, Great Minds Inspiration at Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. Till we see you, till we come to your screen next week, 9 p.m. Stay blessed. From all of us. My name is Tumi Gold.